I don't know about you, but my own journey, there's been plenty of times along the way where I have felt in subtle or not so subtle ways that some effort needs to be made to bring forth that which I was searching for. If I could just practice enough, just work hard enough at it, eventually the discovery would somehow manifest, would happen through some effort of mine, some doing of my own. And so I just want to highlight and just point out, I guess I could say the obvious, which is that this reality, let's call it the shining is so obviously here without effort, isn't it? It's just here. We can't explain how this is here, how the shining is shining, how reality is, how reality is. Somehow the word shining just strikes me as appropriate. Um, it's brilliant in its shine, in its luminosity, in its being. And the shining forth of this, the appearing of this moment, and with the appearance of this moment, the appearance of us, seemingly the participants in this moment, the perceivers of this moment, all of that is the shining forth of reality, and all of it occurring without effort, isn't it? So much talk about being awake and awakening, and here is awake. Here is the moment, awake to itself, awake in its being, effortlessly. Just feel that, enjoy the effortlessness of this. The sun of awake, the sun of wakefulness, the sun of knowing this moment, which is the same as the being of this moment. The knowing of this moment is the being of this moment, isn't it? The presence is awake, the presence of this. And just enjoy the effortlessness of that, the streaming forth of this spontaneously and without any doing on our part. We're literally being done. The ocean of this, doing everything, pulsing as everything, every wave, every momentary wave of perception, springing forth effortlessly from we know not where. All of it, this shining, this brilliant, brilliant, luminous shining of what is, effortlessly known, effortlessly being perceived. Every moment effortlessly being perceived, isn't it? This is not the knowing that we have to cultivate, that we have to practice, that we have to get better at. This is the knowing that's intrinsic to the shining forth of this. In its appearance, it is known as that. However, that may be seem to be descriptively, is irrelevant for purposes of feeling this singular presence, this knowing, this being. Because it doesn't matter the particularities of it, although we can, of course, be curious about those particularities, and that's part of its shine, of course. But we're always looking at the same fundamental shining, right? Every particular ray is the sun of this being knowing, shining as that particular aspect of the light, that particular aspect of the radiance. But all of it is like every ray of the physical sun is its emanation. Every phenomenal appearance is this, the emanation of this, the radiance of this. And so in that sense, all of the particularities are the same. Which isn't to say we don't have our preferences. Let's see, particular versions of this sun's radiance. But it is all the radiance, and it shines forth and is itself effortlessly. Not because we're meditating, not because we're doing something, or not doing something. It's it can't help but be here, it would seem. It can't help but shine forth. That is its nature. This is what there is the being of the moment, the shining of the moment. That whatever it is that's perceiving this moment, that is also its shining, of course, and everything being perceived is the shining. Feel the effortlessness of this wakefulness that's here. There's a saying in Dzogchen, it's like sunlight filling space, the sunlight of this wakefulness, filling everything, inseparable from everything. Everything is known. Not, I don't mean analytically known. I mean known as perceived. There's only perceiving. What else is there? That's the bottomless bottom line, is perceiving. All the different ways what's being perceived can appear, but perceiving is the fundamental. What else could there be? And that's just a word, of course. Can't really say what perceiving is. But we could say something seems to be here. This is this. It's palpable presence of reality. And perceiving is as good as word as any to point to that presence of what is. That is here. Before we take one step to notice it, before we take one step to realize it, one step to know it, it's already here, being known. And always immediate, right? The being known, the perceiving, the awakeness, the being of the moment is always right now. No history to it. No, it's outside of time in that sense, isn't it? There's literally no time. You can just enjoy the effortlessness of this streaming forth, this shining forth, this awake, this sun of awakeness, shining brightly as everything. shining brightly as each sound, as each thought, as each emotion, each sensation, each appearance that's utterly beyond any possibility of characterizing it. No better state of mind to get ourselves into, no better place to arrive at for every place, seeming moment, every perception, is it? Every instant, this light of being, this light of wakefulness. Nothing ever separating itself out from this and becoming something independent. Only this light shining forth as everything, as each moment. It's here for no time and yet shows up as the flow of time. My lights almost went out a moment ago, and it's just occurring to me that it could be a moment that might be described as total pitch dark black, nothing visible, no light shining, but that moment would be luminous in its darkness, luminous in that it's here, that it's present. That's the luminosity, the presence of what is, the sheer fact of being. Impossible to ever lose, possible to ever be removed from. Or we're made of that luminosity. Every cell, every molecule, every atom, every personality, quirk, every thought, feeling, sensation. Pure radiance. This indescribable, inconceivable, presence. A presence that's here, unavoidably here, so clearly here, and yet impossible to put our finger on what it is at the same time. In that sense, not here. Not here as something that can be found and identified, but here as everything. The emptiness dancing as this magical display.